The Acronoplan, also known as the Caspian Sea Monster, was a type of ground effect vehicle developed by the Soviet Union during the Cold War era. It was designed to travel over the surface of the water while utilizing the ground effect, which is a cushion of high-pressure air that forms between the vehicle and the water's surface, allowing it to travel faster and more efficiently than a traditional boat. The first Ekranoplan was developed in the 1960s and was primarily intended for military use, with the ability to transport troops, equipment, and missiles over long distances at high speeds. The most famous of these vehicles was the KM, or Caspian Sea Monster, which was capable of traveling at speeds of up to 500 kilometers per hour and had a range of over 1,500 kilometers. It was so named due to its massive size and unique design, which made it appear almost like a sea monster as it skimmed over the water's surface. The Ekranoplan's unique design included a wing structure that generated lift as it traveled through the ground effect. The vehicle's large size and weight required a powerful engine, and the KM was equipped with 8 turbofan engines. The vehicle's hull was also designed to be hydrodynamic, allowing it to skim over the water's surface with minimal drag. Despite its impressive capabilities, the Ekranoplan was not without its drawbacks. Its reliance on the ground effect meant that it was not suitable for use in rough seas, and its large size made it vulnerable to attack from enemy aircraft. Additionally, the vehicle's high speed and large size created significant noise, which made it difficult to conceal its presence from enemy forces. Despite these limitations, the Ekranoplan remains a fascinating example of Soviet-era engineering and innovation. While the majority of the vehicles were eventually decommissioned, some are still used today for civilian purposes, such as search and rescue operations and cargo transport. The TOS-1 Buratino is a heavy flamethrower system developed by the Soviet Union during the Cold War era. It is mounted on a T-72 tank chassis and is designed to provide heavy fire support to ground troops in combat situations. The system fires thermobaric rockets, which create a massive explosion upon impact, followed by a cloud of burning fuel and air that creates a devastating fireball. The TOS-1 Buratino was first developed in the early 1980s and was based on the chassis of the T-72 tank. It was originally designed to support Soviet troops in Afghanistan, where it proved to be a highly effective weapon against enemy forces entrenched in caves and tunnels. Its ability to create massive explosions in confined spaces made it a feared weapon among the Taliban fighters, who called it the elephant. The TOS-1 Buratino is equipped with a launcher system that can fire up to 24 thermobaric rockets in a single salvo. Each rocket contains a fuel-air explosive that is designed to create a massive blast upon impact, followed by a cloud of burning fuel and air that creates a devastating fireball. The system is highly accurate, with a range of up to 6 kilometers, and can target both stationary and moving targets. The TOS-1 Buratino has been used in a number of conflicts around the world, including the wars in Afghanistan and Chechnya. It has proven to be a highly effective weapon against enemy forces hiding in caves and buildings, as well as against armored vehicles and fortifications. Its ability to create massive explosions has also made it a useful tool for clearing minefields and other obstacles. Despite its effectiveness, the TOS-1 Buratino is not without its drawbacks. Its size and weight make it difficult to transport and deploy quickly, and its limited range means that it must be used in close proximity to enemy forces. Additionally, the use of thermobaric rockets has raised concerns about their potential impact on civilians and non-combatants. In conclusion, the TOS-1 Buratino is a highly effective weapon system that has been used in a number of conflicts around the world. While its use of thermobaric rockets has raised ethical concerns, it remains a powerful tool in the arsenal of modern armies. Object 279 was a Soviet experimental heavy tank developed during the Cold War era. It was designed to operate in a nuclear battlefield and had several innovative features, including its 4-track design, which allowed it to traverse rough terrain and resist the effects of nuclear blasts. Object 279 was first developed in the late 1950s as a response to the threat of nuclear war. It was designed to be heavily armored and capable of withstanding the effects of a nuclear explosion, including shock waves, radiation, and heat. To achieve this, the tank had a unique 4-track design, with 2 tracks on each side of the tank. This allowed it to distribute its weight evenly and improve its mobility on rough terrain. The tank's armor was also heavily reinforced, with a thickness of up to 269 mm in some areas. It was designed to withstand the effects of a 152 mm nuclear shell detonated within 300 meters of the tank. Additionally, the tank had a closed-circuit air filtration system and a radiation shielding system to protect the crew from radiation exposure. Object 279 was armed with a 130 mm cannon and had a top speed of 55 km per hour. It was also equipped with a smoke generator and a dozer blade for clearing obstacles. Despite its innovative design, only 4 prototypes were built, and the tank never entered mass production. The reasons for this are not entirely clear, but it is believed that the tank's high cost and limited mobility on soft terrain were factors in its cancellation. Additionally, the tank's unique 4-track design made it difficult to maintain and repair, which would have been a significant issue in the field. In conclusion, Object 279 was an experimental heavy tank developed by the Soviet Union during the Cold War era. Its innovative 4-track design and heavy armor were intended to make it resistant to the effects of a nuclear blast, but it never entered mass production due to its high cost and limited mobility on soft terrain. Nonetheless, it remains an interesting example of Soviet-era military innovation and technology. The -1 Bermudian Dollar is a Soviet-era airborne infantry fighting vehicle, IFV, that was designed to be airdropped alongside paratroopers during airborne assault operations. It was first introduced in the early 1960s and saw service in a number of conflicts, including the Soviet War in Afghanistan and the Gulf War. The -1 Bermudian Dollar was designed to provide airborne troops with armored support and the ability to quickly maneuver on the battlefield. It was a lightweight vehicle, weighing only 7.5 tons, and could be transported by airplane, helicopter, or parachute. Its armament consisted of a 73 mm cannon and a 7.62 mm machine gun, as well as smoke grenade launchers for concealment. The vehicle's armor was relatively light, with a thickness of only 20 mm, but it was sloped to provide better protection against small arms fire and shell fragments. The -1 Bermudian Dollar was also equipped with a 2-man crew and could carry up to 6 fully equipped infantry soldiers in the rear compartment. The -1 Bermudian Dollar was notable for its amphibious capabilities, which allowed it to traverse rivers and other bodies of water. It was propelled in the water by its tracks, and a trim vane on the front of the vehicle helped to stabilize it. The -1 Bermudian Dollar was also equipped with a snorkel for deepwater fording. Despite its usefulness as an airborne IFV, the -1 Bermudian Dollar had some limitations. Its light armor made it vulnerable to heavy weapons fire, and its armament was not as powerful as that of some other IFVs. Additionally, its small size and limited crew capacity meant that it was not well suited for prolonged operations or extended deployments. In the 1980s, a modernized version of the -1 Bermudian Dollar, called the -2 Bermudian Dollars, was introduced. The -2 Bermudian Dollars had improved armor and armament, as well as better mobility and amphibious capabilities. In conclusion, the -1 Bermudian Dollar is a Soviet-era airborne infantry fighting vehicle that was designed to be airdropped alongside paratroopers during airborne assault operations. It was a lightweight vehicle with amphibious capabilities and could carry up to 6 fully equipped infantry soldiers in addition to its 2-man crew. Although it had some limitations, it was a useful and innovative design that helped to shape the development of future IFVs. Katyusha Rockets, also known as Katyusha Multiple Rocket Launchers, MRLs, were a type of rocket artillery used by the Soviet Union during World War II and in later conflicts. The rockets were named after a popular Soviet folk song, Katyusha, which was often sung by Soviet soldiers during the war. The Katyusha rockets were designed as a mobile and relatively cheap artillery system that could quickly launch large numbers of rockets at enemy positions. They were mounted on trucks, with a launcher frame on the back of the vehicle that could hold multiple rocket tubes. The rockets themselves were relatively simple, consisting of a metal casing filled with explosives and a fuel mixture that burned to propel the rocket forward. The rockets were unguided and had a range of up to 7 kilometers, With a maximum effective range of around 4 kilometers, the Katyusha rockets were highly effective at saturating enemy positions with a large number of rockets in a short amount of time. They were often used to disrupt enemy formations, destroy fortifications, and cause panic among enemy troops. However, they were not as accurate as traditional artillery and had a relatively short range compared to some other rocket systems. Despite their limitations, the Katyusha rockets played an important role in Soviet military tactics during World War II. They were used extensively on the Eastern Front and were instrumental in several major Soviet offensives. They were also used in later conflicts, including the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and were adopted by several other countries, including China and North Korea. Today, the Katyusha rockets are remembered as an iconic symbol of Soviet military power during World War II. The distinctive sound of the rockets, which earned them the nickname Stalin's organs, is still recognizable to many people around the world. In conclusion, Katyusha rockets were a type of rocket artillery used by the Soviet Union during World War II and in later conflicts. They were designed as a mobile and relatively cheap artillery system that could quickly launch large numbers of rockets at enemy positions. Although they had some limitations, they played an important role in Soviet military tactics and remain an iconic symbol of Soviet military power during World War II.